Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Maria Morgan is the founder of Esker Fields, a natural skincare company. Maria says that you need to find a network where you feel comfortable and can be yourself, because at the end of the day, people buy from people. Thank you very much for being my podcast guest today, Maria.
Thank you for having me, Liz. I'm delighted to be here this morning.
I'm sure people can tell already from your accent that you're in Ireland.
I am indeed.
And your business is in the skincare sector, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what was your previous role? I believe you did something for quite a long time before you switched roles.
Yes, well, I did what my mother told me when I was left school, to go and get a permanent pensionable job. So that's what I did. I worked in adult education for a period of 20 years. So my role was people with literacy, numeracy or language difficulties. I organised classes. I ran the managed the adult learning service at that time. And it was a real passion because it was empowering and helping and supporting people, which is what I love to do. And now I'm really doing the same thing, but through a different guise.
Yes.
Do you know?
Yeah. How many people do you think that you helped over those years?
Well, when I started my job on the 1st of February 1999, and I had 42 learners on the books. And when I actually went to contact them, that dwindled down to 21. And when I left, I had maybe 2,500 learners in my house. So, and like we would have had people who was the first person to do their Leaving Cert, which would be the equivalent, is it the GCSEs or the A levels? No, the A levels. Or we're the first person that went to university. It was phenomenal, and it was just sometimes people. I remember one man just coming to me and said, "Here, look, this is a postcard. I've written it myself to my daughter. You know, it wasn't my wife that wrote it. I wrote it." So it was. But eventually, my role became much more administrative. And I was being a number cruncher, and which I didn't like, and I lost the passion for it. And so I always feel if you lose the passion, you should go before you're pushed, really, or before you start being not good at what you do. And my body was screaming at me that I had to move because I had got sick previously with stress, and so I was recognizing those signs again. So I knew I had to make a change in my life at that stage.
Yeah. So what made you switch from adult literacy into skincare then?
Yeah, it's quite a jump, isn't it, really? Well, as I was alluded there earlier, I had got sick about 16 years ago now, 15, 16 years ago now, with work-related stress, where I wasn't able to work for a period of 11 months. And I had run on empty. And when I was sick, my doctor had said to me, "Maria, on paper, you're the healthiest person coming into the surgery," because there was nothing physically wrong with me. I didn't have any infections or, tumours or anything. It was purely that I was mentally and physically exhausted. So at that time, I when conventional medicine couldn't help me, I turned to holistic and alternative methodologies. And I came into contact with Reiki, which totally changed my life. And I always had an affinity with aromatherapy and the oils. I loved the smell of them. I didn't know anything about them. So that perked my interest. And it wasn't until the death of my brother 8 years ago now, he went to bed, didn't wake up 2 weeks short of his 52nd birthday, that really stopped me in my tracks. And I said, what am I doing? I always wanted to train as a aromatherapist, but never did it. So that October, he died on the April, that October, I started my aromatherapy training. And then I initially set up the business doing holistic treatments, started making the skincare on the side for myself and for family and friends, and giving it as gifts and clients and that. And the feedback was so good that I decided, right, I'll get them, did all the mandatory testing that needs to be done. And now I just made a decision there in 2020 that I actually can help more people through my products than I ever could coming to the plinth, because the products really help you come back to center and help to de-stress you. And I know and understand the devastating effect that stress can have on the body.
And what was it that appealed to you about doing things the natural way?
Oh, well, I think, you have to be so careful about what you put in your body. Your skin is the largest organ in your body. And we talk eating healthily for our heart health and for our gut health, but we're not looking at our skin, because our skin is the biggest organ in our body. So what you put into your skin is directly going into your bloodstream. So we should be as aware of what we're putting on our skin as we're putting into our mouth, because essentially that's what we're doing. And really, what you're putting on your skin, you should technically be able to eat it if you had to. Do you know what I mean? Because if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be putting it on your skin. So, and I was absolutely passionate about clean beauty, natural products, and it's particularly essential oils, because I can see the huge effect they have on your mental, physical, the whole person. And that's what I wanted to do. And I think if you can ground that feeling of there's something about the oils and the aromas of the oils, it stops people's in their tracks, and they'll, inhale it, and they'll just breathe, and you can physically see them relaxing once they start smelling the essential oils.
Yeah. So tell me about some of the ingredients that you use and the properties that they have.
Well, all of the products, as I said, contain essential oils. That is there is no fragrances, no perfumes, but the oils are chosen for their therapeutic properties. So when I'm actually formulating a new product, I start with the end in mind. What do I want this product to do? And that determines then what ingredients I use, what oils I use, and whatever. So with all of the products, they all have, natural butters like shea butter, mango butter, coconut oil, cocoa butter. They'll all have, maybe some of them will have carrier oils such as jojoba oil for the skin, rosehip oil for the skin, sunflower oil, and all of them will have some form of essential oils, and again, all of that combines to devise a product. Do you know what I mean? So it is, you're starting with the end in mind, and you're working from that.
Yeah. And where do you source your ingredients from?
Well, because sustainability is huge in there, like I do what I say, so all of the products I source on the island of Ireland, that's a deliberate intention for me to keep my carbon footprint down. That's all of my ingredients, all of my packaging, which I'm very proud of, because a lot of the packaging comes from China. And, I'm trying to keep it as local as I can, because we're all part of the one community. So everything is sourced on the island of Ireland. Now, obviously, the oils aren't produced in Ireland because we don't have the climate.
Yes.
But I source them on the island of Ireland.
Yeah. And so tell me about some of the actual products that you make. Are they creams? Are they balms? What are they?
They're a mixture of both. They're creams, balms, and oils. So we would have hand creams, foot creams, shower gels, body oils, roller balls for the pulse points, sleep spray, aftershave balm for the men. But I suppose what makes Esker Fields products unique is how the products make you feel as a result of using them. So they're not just another skincare product, they're an aromatic sensory experience that makes you feel amazing. So they'll help with, if you have contact dermatitis or psoriasis, it'll help with those. It'll de-stress you if you're suffering from anxiety. It'll calm you down. They'll help you sleep, and they'll help with muscular aches or arthritic pain. And in short, they make you feel good from the inside out. And that is the whole idea, that when you're using the the products, that you mindfully apply them to the skin, that you take a moment to smell the aromas, because the fastest way to get essential oils into your body is actually through your nose. And it's to be in the moment and anchor that feeling of relaxation or, mindfulness, whatever, anchor that with the smell, so that when the body smells that and the brain smells that aroma again, it knows that, oh, this is where I relax. You're training your body there and you're anchoring that with the aroma of the products, and that's how they work.
And so what have your customers been saying about the difference that it's made to them?
Oh, it's huge. Like I would regularly get phone calls, I get letters, I get emails from people telling me how much the products have meant to them. I had one lady who had contact dermatitis, so much so that she had to give up her job as a carer because the latex gloves. She had to wear cotton gloves because she was ashamed of her hands. She was sending me photographs of her hands saying, I can't believe it, Maria. I have people who, haven't slept, and they will, text me or send me a messenger, through messenger saying, I've had the best night's sleep in years. I made up a blend for someone who had, back pain. And she rings me yesterday saying, Maria, I just can't believe it. The pain is gone. And it just makes my day when somebody gives you a call, because when you're in business, Liz, and you know yourself, especially when you're working for yourself, sometimes you doubt, well, how am I going round in circles here? How am I getting on? And these are the reason why I keep going, when people actually take the time to do it. And I can't tell you how much it means when someone takes the time to tell you how much the products mean to you, because it gives you a great boost.
Yeah. So what kind of quantities of your products are you making?
Well, at the moment, obviously, I would always try and keep them in small enough quantities, for freshness and all of that. But, as the business is growing, obviously, the amount of products that I'm making is growing. But I always, try and keep them, that you're not keeping them too. So I would always have a month or two, in advance there, that I know I have, because you want them fresh. You want them there. Now, they will stay, and they do have a good long shelf life. Once you don't, the creams particularly, you don't store them in the sunlight, because they're like butters, they'll melt. But apart from that, but we do try and keep them, make them in small batches for freshness.
Yeah. And where do you sell them, and who do you sell them to?
I sell them on my website, eskerfields.ie. You can purchase them from there. We have a number of stores in Ireland. None in the UK yet, Liz. None in the UK yet. At the moment, the products are on a shelf in Shanghai. So we're kind of looking at entering the Chinese market, which is really exciting. But we are trying to get at the right retailers as well. I've discovered that it's easy to get them on a shelf. That sounds, it's not that easy, but that's only the start of the journey, because you can get them on the shelf, but they can sit lovely on a shelf if you don't work with the retailer around how to sell the products, to support the retailer in that, and how to merchandise them and all of that. So I'm learning all the time, Liz. Learning all the time.
So let's talk about your networking then. How do you like to use networking for your business?
Well, I love people. That's the one thing. I enjoy meeting people and talking to people, and I love helping people. So sometimes, just asking somebody about their business, you can see correlations of maybe how I can help or they can help me. So I would be online in a number of networks like BNI. I joined BNI recently last year. I, would be in mastermind groups. And I generally try and get the local ones, like we would have had Loud Chat here, which was relatively local to me. And just reaching out to people that you meet at events, because the follow-up is there. And I'm also in the Kindred networking. I was just with Barbara there in the last couple of weeks, so I'm hoping to join it there. And I just find, Liz, it can be daunting going in, whether it's online, virtual, or in reality, going into a room to a complete load of strangers. I'm lucky in that I'm quite sociable. I don't mind chatting to people. Like my parents were publicans. They owned a pub.
Right.
So I lived over a pub. So from a very young child, I was chatting to people. So I'm lucky. I really don't mind going into a room. I can make, idle chit chat, but that's not easy. And it's finding the right where you feel comfortable.
Yes.
Your tribe, for want of a better word, where you feel comfortable, where you feel supported, and you feel that you can be yourself.
Yeah.
Because in the end, people do business with people, and you have to present yourself as who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you go to in-person meetings, do you take some of your products along for people to try?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I really should do more of it, because I kind of, maybe I sometimes, and I'm my own worst enemy in this. I don't maybe push my products so much because I don't want to shove them in their face to buy them. Mm-hmm. Do you know? But as a result, then sometimes I'm missing out on opportunity. So what I've started doing now is, if I don't want to put them out, I have a bag with me.
Yes.
And if someone asks me about the product, I just happen to have one here with me. So I'm getting around that way of doing it. But I have to be better at doing that. That's certainly a note to self, but I've learned that too.
What difference do you think that networking has made to your business?
Huge in terms of support. If you just even think of it in support, during the first lockdown, I had kind of joined an online networking group, and I've made friends from that as a result. That we were chatting and supporting one another, and it was 12 months before we actually met in reality. So I would think the first thing is support, and it's great to be able, when you have a network, if you have a problem and you bring it out, chances are someone else has had that problem before you, and they know where to go. So for support there, and also I find that if I'm knocking on doors to get into a shop, whatever, I'm cold calling. Mm-hmm. If I build up a relationship with you, and a shop beside you, and you make a warm introduction for me, then it's much more likely that the store or the shop or whoever is going to buy because they know you.
Yes.
So it's around about building trust with the people and showing up. Yeah. Showing up at the events, and going in with an open mind. Because if you're going in to can these people help me, and not looking at how you can help them, then it's the wrong attitude, because people will see that eventually. So I think it's mutual, and I would say for me it's support and that, because I have a number of people I can call if I have a problem that I would have never met in reality, only from networking events.
Yeah. Well, I think you've given lots of great advice there on how to do networking the right way. So if people want to find you and find out more about Esker Fields, what's the best place for them to contact you, Maria?
Well, the website is www.eskerfields.ie, or my email address is maria@eskerfields.ie, and I can chat and talk to anyone that needs, or if they need any help even choosing products or something like that, there's no problem.
Lovely. Well, thank you for being my guest. And yes, I wish I was a bit nearer to you, because I would love to try out some of your products at a networking meeting.
I will definitely have to get to the UK very shortly now. But we can send I can send products to the UK.
Of course, yeah.
So if people wish, they can get them on through the website.
Lovely. Thank you, Maria.
Take care. Thank you so much for having me, Liz.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.